it's my job, it's my responsibility. If we have to do it, we'll do it.
You're gonna abide by your pledge?
Yeah, interim appointment. I don't want to get involved in the primary.
So no, you would not appoint anybody that is filed for this race?
It would be completely unfair.
California Governor Gavin Newsom made it pretty clear to Chuck Todd over the weekend that if Senator Dianne Feinstein were to resign before her term is up as a result of her age and as a result of her cognitive decline, of course, he would not appoint someone already vying for her Senate seat, namely progressive Barbara Lee. Now, this is a prediction that Cenk and I have had on the show. It is unsurprising to me that he is basically now taking back a promise he had made earlier. Newsom pledged multiple times in the past that he would appoint a black woman if Senator Dianne Feinstein were to step down, like he did in this interview with Joy Reid back in 2021.
If in fact Dianne Feinstein were to retire, will you nominate an African-American woman to restore the seat that Kamala Harris is no longer in the United States Senate? And do you have a name in mind?
I have multiple names in mind. We have multiple names in mind, and the answer is yes.
The answer is yes. Except, of course, one of those black women happened to be a progressive, and the Democratic establishment is trying to install an establishment politician in that seat instead. Now, Barbara Lee, who has entered the Senate race in California, is a black woman. She is a progressive. Katie Porter and Adam Schiff are also vying for that same Senate seat. But as I mentioned earlier, Schiff is the establishment favorite to replace Feinstein. And that's the reason why Gavin Newsom doesn't want to appoint a black woman, because as soon as he does, she is then the incumbent, right? She would have to, of course, defend that seat in the Senate race, but there's a better shot at her actually remaining in place. And Gavin Newsom is very, very concerned, allegedly, about keeping the election fair, and therefore will not choose her as his appointment. One more video, let's take a look.
We're aligned with Feinstein in her office.
Sounds like you hope you don't have to make another appointment.
No, I don't want to make another appointment. I don't think the people of California want me to make another appointment.
Because you'd end up appointing both seats, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think that's, that said, it's my job, it's my responsibility. If we have to do it, we'll do it.
You're gonna abide by your pledge?
Yeah, interim appointment. I don't want to get involved in the primary.
So no, you would not appoint anybody that is filed for this race?
It would be completely unfair to the Democrats that have worked their tail off. That primary is just a matter of months away. I don't want to tip the balance of that.
But you're going to abide by it would be essentially a caretaker, an African-American woman.
We hope we never have to make this decision, but I abide by what I've said very publicly on a consistent basis, yes.
And look, the other disadvantage that Barbara Lee has at the moment is that, of course, Schiff and Porter have outraised her in this election. So they have far more resources to run against her. But it is incredible to me that Gavin Newsom is pretending like his top concern here is fairness. And also this notion, like he wants the cookies when he's asked by Joy Reid whether he will appoint a black woman, right? He wants to appear inclusive. He wants to play the identity politics just right for the Democratic voters. But when push comes to shove, when the situation gets real, and when he has an opportunity to appoint a progressive black woman, well, she's a progressive, and my buddies in the Democratic Party want Schiff in that seat instead. So no, I'm not gonna do it. That's what's really going on here.
So, look, guys, I feel like sometimes I hurt people's feelings when I say things that are true about politics. So, like you guys know, right? Most of you that watch the show know. Like none of this stuff is true. So he's like, oh, I just don't want to make another appointment. You've made countless appointments. Now you're drawing the line. All of a sudden, when it would be a progressive, now all of a sudden, you're worried about making appointments.
She just wants to be fair, James.
Now, every time you made an appointment, it was for a corporate establishment Democrat. But the minute you said a black woman and Barbara Lee's the obvious choice, all of a sudden you don't want to make appointments anymore, okay? You just found that was somehow that was the straw that broke the camel's. Not because she's progressive. No. Just because that was just the exact right limit number of appointments. Come on. And with the voting months away, is it? It's not that close.
No, it's not.
And by the way, Feinstein has been in this situation for years. But you didn't want to appoint Barbara Lee because she's a progressive, and you want Adam Schiff to win because he's from your wing of the party, corporate establishment Democrat, and you guys and Nancy Pelosi or work very closely together. You have an alliance. And then you pretend that you care about Dianne Feinstein like you guys are real friends. He said that many times in that interview. If my friend clearly had dementia, I wouldn't wheel her into the Senate for my own political purposes. It's disgusting. So I don't believe a word you're saying. And we know exactly why you're not appointing Barbara Lee. And by the way, I'm not necessarily in favor of Barbara Lee for that Senate seat. I might rather vote for Katie Porter. I haven't made up my mind. And yes, it would give Barbara Lee a little bit of an advantage over Katie Porter. But I, unlike Gavin Newsom, actually care about things that are right and fair. You said you'd appoint an African-American woman. Clearly, someone has to be appointed. Dianne Feinstein no longer has a mind. Sorry if that hurts your feelings, but she doesn't. She literally has no idea what's going on. None, and everyone knows it. It's a joke. You're making a mockery of the system, and then you wonder why people lose faith in institutions.
Yeah, I mean, look, there are two issues here, in my opinion. So issue number one is we literally have a United States senator in the Senate who is unable to do her job and cannot function due to her cognitive decline and her age. I mean, we see it, we've all seen it. She missed several months of the session because of the fact that she was ill with shingles. And then they wheeled her into the Senate, and she looked like a mess. It is insanely cruel and it's awful. So there's that side of it. There's also the fact, and this is a bigger, broader point that I'm trying to make about the Democratic Party, namely slimy politicians like Gavin Newsom. They want all of the kudos and they want the admiration and the applause for appearing as though they care about diversity, appearing as though they care about equality in America, when in reality, all they want to do is engage in theater and shallow gestures that they're hoping they'll never be held accountable for. But here it is, Gavin Newsom, all of a sudden, his worst nightmare comes to fruition where people are holding his feet to the fire and asking him, well, now's your opportunity. Are you gonna hold to your promise? And he's refusing to do it while pretending to be the moral one, right? That's the other part that drives me crazy, the moral grandstanding. Pretending as though you're doing this because you're trying to be fair. How is it fair for the people of California to currently be represented by a United States senator who cannot do her job, who doesn't even remember the fact that she gave her daughter power of attorney?
Yeah, she doesn't remember that she said she wasn't gonna run again. She doesn't remember the thing Chuck Schumer told her just a minute ago. She doesn't remember which hearing she's in. This is absurd. Guys, do you see it? This is the gaslighting that media does. Like, this is not a debatable issue. She has no ability to do that job right now. But it's become a debatable issue because why? Because now it's like, well, how much? On the one hand, she's clearly not capable of it. On the other hand, we must kiss the ass of the powerful and never question them. That's not an on the other hand. No, she's gotta go. Look, if you said to me, he's gonna put Adam Schiff in there, I would still say yes. Even though that was unbelievably unfair and the exact opposite of what he said. Why? Because we don't have a senator right now. We don't have a senator. You're destroying our faith in the institutions. One last thing that's a total nightmare about this. Because of Feinstein, they won't criticize McConnell, who also is having massive cognitive issues. So the Democrats have unilaterally surrendered on criticizing the heart of darkness, Mitch McConnell, because of Feinstein. And by the way, it's not her fault. She doesn't even know what's going on right now because of Gavin Newsom and Nancy Pelosi that are doing this facade and this charade with Feinstein's seat.
So Barbara Lee responded to Gavin Newsom's statements in that interview with Chuck Todd. I want to give you her statements, which she posted on X. I'm troubled by the governor's remarks. The idea that a black woman should be appointed only as a caretaker to simply check a box is insulting to countless black women across this country who have carried out the Democratic Party to victory, or carried the Democratic Party to victory, election after election. And she goes on to talk about the history of the Senate and how little black representation there is in the United States Senate, especially among black women. So, she's right in all of that. But look, if you're expecting Gavin Newsom to stay true to his promises, you're putting your faith behind one of the sleaziest politicians in the country.
All right, I mean, look at what he's saying basically. He's saying, I'll only appoint an African-American woman if she's a token.
Yeah, that's exactly right. But that's what they do, Cenk.
That's
That is what they do. That is what they do. They weaponize race. They weaponize identity for their little political stunts. But when they have the opportunity to prove what they mean, they never do. Because they don't care about those issues at all. They never have, they never will. What they care about is their own political power. Gavin Newsom has proven that time and time again in this state, in California.
So in this case, they're saying the quiet part out loud. They're saying, if it's gonna be Barbara Lee, and by the way, for those of you who don't know, Barbara Lee was the sole vote against the war in Afghanistan. That lasted 20 years, was an absolute disaster. She had the courage after 9/11 to say this is not the right war, this is imperialistic, okay? So they don't want to put in a strong, independent-minded black woman. They're literally saying we will only do this if it's a token black woman who will do what she is ordered to do. It's disgusting. Thanks for watching the Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.